I mean, for us, power is the central frame for all of this, and this isn't just about climate philanthropy. I think this is about philanthropy writ large, that we can tend to get fixated on the policies or the technologies, or in the case of climate, the science, when really what we lack, the missing ingredient, is the power to implement those things, the power to invest in those things, the power to heed that science. And so for us, that raises a few questions for us as how we approach philanthropy about what we fund and how we fund it. So what we fund, it's most important for us to support power building in the very communities that Tate identified, in communities of color, indigenous communities, and working class communities, who are the communities that are always left out when there is some kind of large-scale transition. And that's why we believe in the frame of just transition. This idea that systems change is a good frame, but systems change all the time, right? That's not actually that special. But for a system to change in a way that's just, that's equitable, that has the right folks at the table to determine what happens in their community, that's something that would be really special. And that's a question of power and a question of supporting folks to build power. So that's what we believe we need to support at Chorus. But then the how we support it is also a question of power, right? Because we need to situate ourselves as funders and think, what power do we hold? How are we potentially abusing that power if we're not careful, if we're too directive and say, this is the policy we want? We put out a request for proposals from organizations to implement that policy, like they're service providers, as opposed to seeing them as the leaders and the visionaries who know what need to happen, and us as supporting from alongside or from behind rather than directing what happens.